Hello, hello. How's it going there, everybody? Happy Monday. It's Monday. We're here. We're going to do some flying. What a day. Literally made it by the skin of my teeth. But that's okay, we're here now. And we're going to do some flying in the majestic lands of Germany. We have a plan. Don't know how good the plan will be, but yeah, we'll wing it. Do you see what I did there? Wing it. Pun intended. So, let's talk about a plan, shall we? We're on the ground here over in Berlin. Now, the pronunciations tonight are literally going to go out that door, right? But I reckon is it Schoenfeld? Or Schoenfeld? Anyway, it's south of Berlin. That's the airport we're going at. Our plan is we're going to fly over Berlin. And we're going to have a look at a place called Tempelhofer Feld, which is a really interesting airport right in the middle of Berlin. Then we're going to continue on, check out some of the sights, rambling over to Hamburg in around the Elbe. We'll have a quick look at the Airbus factory and a place called Finkenwerder. The pronunciations tonight could be absolutely hilarious, so anything I get wrong, just kind of, you're doing it wrong, just do that. And then when we get to Hamburg, we're going to open it up to multiplayer and behave now, because we're flying in populated areas. It could be dangerous. So yes, we'll all try and behave ourselves. We will be on the North Europe server, for those of you who want to join in. So from Hamburg, we're going to make our way then kind of more west over to a place called Bremen. And what's interesting about Bremen, you might ask, is there was an aircraft way back when called the Bremen that took off from Bremen, flew via Balnonal, picked up Colonel James Fitzmaurice, who at the time was probably a captain, and it did the first ever east to west transatlantic flight. So there, we're not doing that part, we're just going to go to Bremen and kind of check it all out. So that's the plan. I love a good plan. Let's say hi to some peoples. Philip Breen is here, good evening to you. Matthew Heeds, Mark Gorman, welcome aboard. Luke is here as well. Got Border Collies says, howdy, how's it going, dude? Aidan Darley Aviation is here. Mal Walsh has rolled in the door. The Buzz has arrived. He asks, evening Captain Murphy, what onboard delights do you have for us passengers? Philip Breen is here. He says, I'll have a vodka, please. One vodka coming up. And Darley asks, how was your day today, Murph? Oh, what a day. Mondays were invented to be a day, don't you think? It all started off very early this morning, where Murph did a very bad thing to Mrs. Two-Tone Murph, and it's a wedding anniversary of all things. And I was greeted this morning at the breakfast table with a card, and as you can imagine, I kind of sank into my chair going, what's the occasion? Am I in trouble? And I was kindly reminded that on this day 8 years ago, we got married. And yes, so after removing foot from mouth, I said, ha ha ha, I didn't forget. Not at all. So my thumbs went red, and they were just a blur whilst I texted our flower people, and I luckily saved the day. We got flowers delivered. So hopefully she won't appear later on with a dagger into my back, which I'd probably well deserve, but it's all grand. So yeah, that's the day I've had. Foogly is here as well with all the emojis. Good evening to you, dude. Minty Aviation is here. Saying, hello Murphy, I'm confident that you will grow very fast on YouTube. Your stream quality is great. Well, thank you very much, Minty. I really appreciate that. Papa Joe B is here asking what server. We'll probably be on the North Europe one. Philip Breen asks, have I been to Germany in person? Yes, I have. Not in Berlin though. That's definitely a place I want to go. I was in Hamburg a couple of years ago. Colonel Fork 85 is here. He says, Guten Tag. How are you, Colonel? I hope you're keeping well. Aidan Darley says, Murphy, no joke, I literally just finished my German homework. Well, Aidan, you have to help me out now for this evening. As the buzz says, stop showing off with your German language. Keen Laffer says, hopefully I won't have to listen to That's Another Year tonight. Keen, I hope so. And what is the current update on the ETA of the Eurovision? Because we're kind of deep in Eurovision kind of territory here. I believe these guys kind of like it. So we shall see. Guten Abend, Murph. How was your weekend? Asked Daniel M. Hello, Daniel M. You're very welcome tonight, and happy Monday. The weekend was good. Yeah, it was good. Chilled out. Saturday was busy. We had like soccer training in the morning and did a fairly cool stream on Saturday night. And yesterday I spent quite a bit of time actually reacquainting myself with VATSIM. And I did a few kind of flights just around Ireland just to kind of get me out VATSIM VFR skills. And it's, you know, it's just, I haven't used it now in Microsoft Flight Sim. So the first flight I did yesterday was just, I was flying VFR and I rambled over to Shannon. And there was a controller in Shannon. Now, Shannon in Microsoft Flight Sim, the runways are great. You know, it's ideal and everything looks the way it should. But the taxiways haven't been implemented yet. So you're kind of you're kind of taxiing over all sorts of kind of craziness, but the controller was very patient and 100% really nice guy. And then I did another flight kind of last night, taking off out of Baldonnel, in which I was the call sign Irish 258, and I took out the Cessna Longitude to do a flight down to Cork. And well, let's not go into it. The autopilot kind of said, yeah, this isn't going to happen, and it stopped. So that's what we did. Kin J is here. He says, where are we flying to? So we're going to start off here in Berlin, over to Hamburg, and then over to Bremen. Sounds like a plan. Papa Joe says, buy her an anniversary graphics card. I see what you've done there, and I like that. I reckon she'd love the 3090, you know. And many thanks to Ian the other night. He said it comes with a fitted kitchen. She's going to get the fitted kitchen before I get the card. But anyway, we shall see. Aidan says, oh my, Mrs. Murphy, didn't suspect a thing. But yes, congrats. Many thanks, my dudes. I hope the internet behaves itself tonight. King J says, can I fly with you? Yeah, sure. We'll be jumping on once we get down to Hamburg. That's the plan. Kenneth Naughton is here. Good evening to you, Kenneth. Hope you're keeping well. King J says, no, he doesn't. The Buzz says, was it Mrs. Murphy's foot in your mouth? It was a roundhouse dropkick, and I felt every bit of it. Joseph Gambino is here. Greetings from New York City. Greetings from Ireland. Joseph, I hope you're keeping well. Kendra is here. She says, good evening. I am from Hamburg. I have no problem with the German language. Guten Abend. That's very good, yeah. A good evening to you, Kendra. Many thanks for joining us here this evening. So Wesley Hartford has rambled into the room holding a pint. How's it going there, Wesley? Happy Monday to you. Tom McHale is here. He says, what's your favourite plane? I do like the Cessna 172. I really like the Cub Savage or Piper Savage? The Cub Savage. And I'm getting a little bit accustomed to this little TBM I'm flying here this evening as well. So that should be all great fun. King Lafford reports 252 days, 23 hours, 47 minutes and 18 seconds until Eurovision. That's important. Write that date down. Ivan is here. Hi, Two-Tone. Sorry I'm late. No notification. I'm a member of the SV Rudder Bremen and used to travel every other month. It's a bit flat for sure. Cool. Bad Dog is here. How's it going, dude? Hope you're keeping well. Ludas is here as well. Good evening to you, Ludas. Brian Clark rambles in. He says, hi, Murph. How are you, Brian? Happy Monday to you, my friend. Bartman 7490 is here. Hope all is well. Carry out sorted for another great stream. Cheers. I approve. Luda says, I will be in the stream in 1 hour. Oh, Germany, can we fly at my hometown? Let's see how we get on, if it's somewhere along the flight plan. Matthew Heeds, very good evening, bud. How are you going? Very well, thank you, Matthew. Wesley says, I have to say, the Pits special is insanely fun. It's insanely hard to handle. But yeah, it is great fun. Daza T. Arab is here as well. He says, hello, Murph and all. Hello, Daza. Hope you're keeping well. So, with that said, here's a little airplane. Joe Blow Photo has subscribed. Many thanks. You're very welcome, and happy Monday, my dude. So we're in the TBM 930, and yeah, that's kind of it. We'll bring up our little map here. So when we take off, we're just going to kind of hand fly it up in and around the vicinity of Hamburg. Let me see. They've actually modelled this other airport, Tempelhofer. And Tempelhofer is really interesting. So it was built back in the late Unpleasantness, and then the other lads who kind of had they tried to have a bit of crack during the 1930s and 40s, but it all went terribly wrong, and they did terribly wrong. Built a phenomenal terminal for the airport, which kind of stood right up to the 70s and 80s. I mean, this thing was massive. It was one of the biggest self-built buildings on the planet for quite a few years. So we're going to go up there and have a look at that. It's usually, well, it was up until recently used for kind of like different festivals, and you can ramble in there that have different shows on, and you know, they do all that kind of good stuff. But I do believe now it's used for housing some how does one be politically correct? I'm going to say migrants, but not really migrants. Would they be refugees, I suppose? And they kind of put them there because the area is massive, so they have like tented villages and things like that. Dangerous Brian is here. Good evening, everybody, he says. Good evening, Brian. Happy Monday to you, dude. Mal Walsh says, Murphy, I can better you. Me and the missus both forgot our wedding anniversary on Saturday. Yeah, but that's not better. At least like you both forgot, and you both kind of looked at each other going, sure, who keeps date when we're having fun? Me, on the other hand, I nearly choked on me cornflakes. Yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, it's grand, right? Let's hope. 16 Fatchy is here. Just crashed my Cessna 152 into y'all. Flying one-handed and trying to get a video of my house. Oh well. The simulated horror. Billy Wald says, just after coming home, perfect timing. Cool. So yes, so that is going to be the plan. So enough jibber jabber. Let's jump into our nice, speaking of which, how do we get out of here? You know the way I kind of pre-plan everything? So we're down here. Zoom in here now and we get an idea what's going on. So we can taxi out. That says it's closed, so we'll be taxiing out to the right hand side, and we're going to go out that way. Right, grand. Bit of a plan is made. Okay, so hello TBM. I've been binge watching Steve-O-One Knievel videos for the last ages. So let's see how these go, shall we? Get some nav lights on here. So we have this kind of power or crash bar that needs to go to the forward or up position first. Then you can flick on a battery. Kendra, you're going to be the helper here for this evening. Like it or not, Kendra is now our tourist guide. Kendra says, Tempelhof, it's now used as a park to enjoy free time. Nice. There we go. It's all about learning about new places. As Bad Dog says, I was looking at the TBM last night. She's quite nippy. Indeed it is. Mohammed Norbank is here. Good evening, Mohammed. I hope you're keeping well. He's from Iran. Hello from Ireland to Iran. I don't believe I've spoken to someone from Iran before. Beg falsche Road, August Sludge. And for the German people in it, Guten Nacht, or you're ahead of us, so Guten Nacht, or Guten Morgen. What time is it in Iran? Monday night having a couple of quiet bevies is the best cure for a stressful day. We shall see. Daniel says, well, at least it didn't kill you yesterday, so I think you're safe. Yes, just about. Oh dear, Kane, that sounds really bad. Eugene Donaghy's here, tuned in from Canada. Good evening to you. Good afternoon in Canada. See, I'm getting me times right. I need to get one of them clocks, as in several clocks behind me so I can see what's going on. Anyway, we continue on. So our auxiliary fuel boosts can go on to automatic. Fuel selector, automatic. AP trims on autopilot switches can go on. We have our nav lights on. Don't need to worry about pulses or strobes. We have our panel lights on. Have a look down here and see what's happening. Thanks very much for that. Our parking brake is on. That's important. We're going to turn on our inertial separator. That's important. We need that. As we have a look down here, so this is your fuel tank selector. We've set it to automatic, so every couple of minutes it'll just keep swapping over. KCG is here. Guten Abend. Good evening. Hope you're keeping well. So, yeah, let's see how this goes, shall we? It's a night of nights, and I keep looking over at my internet speed, because it's one of them days, guys. Something is just going to happen. So our barrow pressure is set. All of this kind of looks good. Johnny, you are relieved for this evening. I don't think we need you. So I think we're going to be good. There's the warning light for the inertial separator, but that's quite okay. We've expected that. So we're going to go to our starter here. Hold it for 2 seconds. 1, 2, and let go. And we're now going to monitor our ITT and our NG. We now have 14, 15, 16. Go ahead, introduce low idle. Should be getting a good start on the engine. So at this stage we look for our ITT for a hot start and our NG for a hung start. Basically a hot start is the temperature will just over rev and, well, it'll go on fire. And a hung start means that you've all this power but the turbine ain't moving. Now there is a bit of a glitch here. If you leave it in high idle, the ITT will keep rising and it won't peak. So we'll just jump it across here. So we'll go ahead and turn our bleeds on. It's a very different aircraft to that of Stevo, whereby you don't have to worry about a whole load of switches and stuff. There's no avionics master or any of that kind of stuff. You have a bleed for your pressurization. Everything is automatic. So the workload from the pilot is severely reduced, which is great. So this all appears to look good. Jump back up to here, just make sure everything's okay. We can turn our ignition to off. We don't need that now. All engines, well, the one engine is running. And so have a quick look in here just to make sure. So our inertial separator is on, that's quite okay. And our parking brake is on. So at the moment, everything looks kind of grand. Michael Vlogs Gaming is here. He says, go to Auschwitz. No, that's in Poland. Ailerons into the wind. Evening, just a quick drop in, having a night away. Nice. Have a safe one. And Dortmund has some awesome scenery. Stay safe, Murph. Ailerons into the wind. You enjoy yourself and enjoy your little night away. Daza says, I love flying the TBM. Possibly my favourite plane to fly when not sightseeing. I agree. Coley 205 is here. He says, evening, Murph. Hello, Coley. I hope you're keeping well. Billy Wall says, Hans, do you smell the burning too? I learned this morning at the start of the week. I have to face my... Keen Lafford says, I learned this morning that at the start of every week, I have to face my science teacher. Papa Joe B says, my wife asks me to remember her of stuff. That way, if she forgets, it's my fault. I feel your pain. I know exactly where you're coming from. So go ahead, get our taxi lights on. Strobe lights can come on now as well. We don't really need pulse lights. And all of this kind of looks okay. Billy Wall says, Kane, I had to face my French teacher today for a double. First thing. Ouh la mer, sec le bleu. Anyway, what do we say? We're going to taxi out here up onto the right hand side and let's see what happens, shall we? So we need this on full. Parking brake coming off. Add a bit of power. Johnny, don't mind us. We're just going to, well, we're just going to ramble over this way. Do be mindful of the wing. He'd be grand. Now, how do we get out of here? Oh, we can go to the right. There are a number of other TBMs here. I didn't think I was flying on a server. Have we people flying with us? Uno momento. As a pair of legs dangle down from the Cessna. Well, that's kind of strange. I wonder, is that just like ground traffic? Maybe, maybe not. I think it is. I've no servers turned on. So let's see what happens here. Right, come on, TBM, bit of oomph here, please. There we go. So, squawk when we're in Germany, I believe now, I could be totally wrong. This is the limitations of Murphy's kind of research. But they don't squawk 7000 here for VF4. They have 2 VF4 codes. And we're going to do the one that's going to keep us below 5,000 feet. If we can find it. It's going to be down here. MFD. Nav. No. Navcom. Yes. Altitude mode is going to be 0021. And we're going to go to altitude reporting. Enter. Just like that, as Tommy Cooper would say. So that is the plan. As we rumble across. So our altitude, we're going to set our initial altitude for 3,500 feet. Turn our flight directors on. And we'll taxi down this direction. Do. So again, it's very much a night of kind of, well, exploring new places. It's an adventure of some sort. So we shall see. But in saying that, the TBM, when it works very, very well. Last night, as I said, the old Cessna didn't want to, the Longitude, the jet, it didn't want to behave with its 80s or the autopilot. So all kinds of frustrations were shouted at the computer and TV, and not the controller. Jim Oates is here. He says, "Good day, troops. Hope you all had a great weekend." As the Scale Model Doc has rambled in as well. Speaking of which, I need to say hi to some people. See, I almost forgot, but then again I didn't. But then again, the day I'm having, it's going to be understandable. Did you bring your grog along? Gets a big shout out. As does Shivam, as does, who's on my little list? Ludos and Jim Oates. Good evening all, I hope you're all keeping well. And we'll also give a shout out to the Vigia Crusader and to S. Voigt, which is Scott. I'd like to say hello to these people, for they are members on the YouTube side, and of course to all the followers, members and subscribers on YouTube and Twitch, good evening, guten Tag, guten Abend from this time of the evening, or guten Nacht where you are, or guten Tag, or indeed guten Morgen. That's where the end of the German phraseology kind of is, because I'm quite limited after that. But we'll see, we might learn up a couple of new German words along the way here. You wouldn't know your luck. And Philip Breen. See, Philip, you just need to start shouting at me really, really loud. Philip Breen is here as well. And many thanks to you, Philip. So we don't need a whole lot of runway because the TBM is an absolute machine altogether. So we're going to turn on our next taxiway here, and then we're going to go for a bit of a blast off. So remember, we need to get the, I'm going to say PFD, but you need to get your kind of stuff set to what way you're flying. That's not you. OBS, no, that's not you. Active VOR goes to FMS. Now I wasn't here. PFD, other wind. That's the gadget we want. We want to see what wind we're doing. I'm going to swing left here on Alpha, it looks like. Go ahead, turn on our landing lights, and we got some pulse lights on for the sheer crack of it as well. I don't actually know I don't fully understand pulse lights. I think it's something to do with like scaring birds, or in low visibility they tend to help, but we shall see. You see, KCG, you could be saying literally anything, and I'm telling you, I'm like Anchorman. I'll read the prompter and I'll say literally anything, and it's only if I kind of realize what's being said I'll go, oh, you can't say that, or be careful saying that. But if you like speak in a language that, like, I struggle with English as it is, I'm liable to say anything and offend the masses, and we couldn't be having that, you know. It'd be great crack for you, but not for me. They'll literally turn out the lights. Think about it. I'm Ron Burgundy. It could happen. So we're taking our time here because the flight time in the TBM, I was looking at it earlier when I was planning it, so I was going to say, yeah, Cessna 172, and it was like a 2-hour flight, and I was thinking, doesn't leave a lot of time to explore. And then at TBM, it's like a 30-minute flight. I was like, it doesn't leave a lot of time to, you know, the multiplayer aspect. So we'll see. Joseph says, airlines that pulse their lights exhibit a lower occurrence of near-miss events. Okay, so it is pretty much a, be careful, I'm kind of approaching. Okay, I think we're good to go. Flaps set, transponder is squawking, lights are on, power's coming in. The sound of this machine. Takeoff power set, airspeed is alive, try and keep it here on the center line. We're at 60 knots. KCG says, I'm being polite, I promise. Waiting to see it. Murphy will cause some sort of an international, like, incident this evening. 90 knots, we're good to pull back on the shtick. Positive rate of climb, gear coming in. Tap on the toe brakes. Flaps coming in, and go ahead and gauge our yaw dampener. Now we want to watch our speed here, because otherwise we'll blink and that'll be it. So climb a bit of altitude here at about 130 knots. The performance in the TBM is fantastic. It's well able to climb at 2,500 feet. No problem. Mark Intella is here. Good evening to you. He says, hey Murph, hope all is well. Where are we going tonight? We're in Germany. Welcome Deutschland. See, I'm learning more. This is great. I'd be fluent in like minutes. So we've taken off here from Berlin. We're going to be making a right turn to fly over the city of Berlin. And once we have that done, we're going to go up and have a look at Hamburg. And when we're finished in Hamburg, we're going to rumble over to Bremen. Just to see what we can see. Okay. So Berlin is kind of ahead of us, roughly in the distance. So I'm going to try and trim myself out here. And I'm going to rely on the autopilot. And that's never a good idea. So, heading set, autopilot on, speed we want to select. VS we're going to select. And we're going to go to 500, and we'll probably leave it at 3,000 feet for the initial, because we're not, we don't want to like fly over things too fast. So we'll keep an eye on our speed here. Probably about 130 is going to be tickety-boo. As we continue on our climb, it's time to jump out now and get a look at some things, as we like to do. What would be kind of nice? I don't have any like your typical German music, but I think the well, the Germans might like this. Moin is an informal greeting like hello. Chush is an informal way of saying goodbye. Aha! So we're approaching this area here, which is the Tempelhofer, literally named Knights Templar back in the day, way back when. And it's a... I nearly stalled. It's a very interesting place because one of the very first flights ever in the history of all things flying happened there. They gave an air display. A fella called Armand Zipfel, he was a Frenchman, and he flew a plane here. Okay, that's looking a bit better. So we'll go this way. And the gas thing is, a couple of months later, after this French guy, Armand Zipfel, gave a demonstration in this very airfield, a few months later, Orville Wright appeared with his creation. So the runways are no longer in use, and as you can see from this terminal building, it wraps all the way around, and there was actually kind of like a canvas or a roof that went all the way over the top of it. Now I think the construction and everything else was part of Albert Speer's plan, along with the Luftwaffe, to drop it all in here. Kendra says the roof was meant to be a tribune initially. Aha. Like, it is a very interesting place, and in terms of aviation history and the importance, it's massive. Like, the size of this building, it was made like with marble and kind of different metals and stuff. Like, they kind of went all out. There's 160 knots. Slow it down, Murph. So as we fly over Berlin, let's say Berlin proper, this kind of a mast kind of a thingy, dude. That's what we should have done with our Spire, by the way. The Germans had a better plan. That's a TV kind of mast thing. I could try and pronounce it, but I know better. Is it the... hang on, we'll try it. Is it the Fernsehturm? Or the Fernsehturm? We just don't know. Alan Mead is back. He says, "Evening, Murph. Back on the channel as a married man now." Well, Alan Mead, congratulations to you. I believe you got married, was it just this weekend or was it last weekend? But congratulations, my dude. Daniel M says, "Should you be saying gas in Germany?" It's all good. I'm an Irish fella. We can have the crack at anything. So as we've flown over Berlin, because we're going way too fast, we'll do another one, shall we? As we spin out here to our right-hand side. So with Berlin in Microsoft Flight Sim, the vast majority of the city is done with photogrammetry. So a lot of the buildings and whatnot is correct. Which is always good. Kezia says, "I lived in Tarp in, is it Schwalvig? Holstein for a while." Jennifer says, "How would I play Flight Sim with you? I don't have it, but I'm just curious." Once you get Flight Sim, we can do online flying, Keen. So we'll kind of ramble over to the window here and have a gawk out. So, I don't know what Berlin was like kind of prior to the war, but I do know now it's very kind of, well, one side of it is very kind of straight and parallel roads, whereby the other is a bit kind of twisty, old, medieval kind of roads, which is always interesting. So we'll go for another 90-degree right turn here, just to kind of see what we can see, because I do believe the old Reichstag building is here to look at as well, along with the Brandenburg Gate. So we're going to try and identify these as soon as we can, just to say that we saw them. Ron Castradius here. Where are you headed for today? We're in Germany, so we're flying around Berlin at the moment. We're going to head up to Hamburg, and then we're going to head up to Bremen. Daza says, "I was actually born in Munster, whilst my father was stationed in Germany with the Scots Guards back in 1975. Sweet. That is very interesting. So, yeah, a good buddy of mine lived in Germany for a number of years. I've been in Germany once. I've been to Munich or München, and I was in Baden-Baden, and where else did we go? Our summer holidays for this year, we had planned to go to Germany, which just didn't kind of materialise. So it's put on the long finger, and we'll hopefully get back to it next year. So if I 90-degree to our right here, I do believe we'll get an idea of what's going on. Ryan says, "What servers in Microsoft Flight Sim are you playing on?" Probably the North Europe servers, Ryan. Gulf Island Aviator, "Hello from the west coast of Canada. I lived in Germany for most of the 1970s as an army brat. Most of it was in Schwarzwald." Or hang on, I'll try that again. Schwarzwald. Or just Schwarzwald. So here's that airport, cool looking place we were talking about earlier on. As the buildings load in and don't look like pyramids. So Tempelhoferfeld. So It's a really important piece of aviation history, I have to say. Kendra says, can we fly over Tegel? Is it Tegel or Tegel? That way the car door to the aircraft door was 29 metres with the shortest distance. Nice. You must have some great stories, Brian says to Daza. I was just about to say that as well. Joseph says, I have an aunt in Ireland and an uncle in Germany. Gulf Island says, Baden-Baden was home to the other Canadian Army base in Germany. Sweet. Okay, so as we're in this location, down here is the Brandenburg Gate. And correct me if I'm wrong, would that be the Reichstag? Maybe I'm wrong, but it kind of looks like it. What do you guys think? So the Brandenburg Gate is there. The mesh is a little bit messed up, as my really steady hand kind of camera work.
Hey, good morning.
As Aviation 737 has just subscribed. Many thanks, my dude. Happy Monday. He says, hello, I just subbed. Oran says, Werder Bremen happens to be the football club I support. Nice. So that's the back of the Brandenburg Gate, and am I right in saying that's what I think it is? Is that the Reichstag? It looks like it. I could be wrong. The detailing isn't fantastic when you get up really close to it. And if it's not, we're going to call it the building that looks very familiar, but maybe isn't. But I think it is. And then you have this wonderful park here, and there's a monument kind of further down here, right in the middle. This fella here. And I remember seeing that in photographs going back from the Olympics back in the 30s, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that is the Reichstag Bod. The Reichstag Bod, does that mean it's the old or the new? Aviation 737 says, yes, you are correct. Well, hot dang. So Berlin is very much a city I want to visit. Apart from the obvious history, but it's just a city I'm kind of drawn to. I really would love to visit it. Daniel M says, yeah, the 1936 Olympics. Quesadilla says, yes, that's the Reichstag. Kean Gibbons is here. That definitely looks like the right positioning. And Joseph Gambino says, you're right, Two-Tone. I just checked Google Maps. You're alive in the 30s. You better believe it. There was surely a Two-Tone Murphy throwing shapes back in the 1930s. Sure, wasn't there a Two-Tone Murphy at the Olympics? Right, we'll do one more fly past, and then we're going to make our way up then to Hamburg. So I hope everything is running well, guys. The old frames and sounds and visuals and stuff. Daza asks, do you think third parties will develop the cities in more detail like London, and do you think they will be reasonably priced? Yes, so Jazveki Designs has just released their rendition of Washington landmarks, and they're pretty good. Who else? There are a number of other freeware developers who are working on some cityscape areas to include other buildings. Now I think they're taking them from open source kind of places, which might be a headache once Asobo and Microsoft start updating their own cities. And they have said every month they're going to pick a new area in which they're going to focus on updating all the scenery for that area. So for example, if you guys look at Dublin back in Ireland, Dublin is kind of, you know, it's kind of there. It's kind of a what the. But I do believe they are working on photogrammetry for it, because I've seen photogrammetry for Dublin, and it does in places look amazing, far better than anything else I've seen in the sim. No idea of a release date. Well, this looks kind of pretty. Billy Waltz asks, planning on multiplayer tonight? You betcha. We'll do some multiplayer once we get up to Hamburg, which I imagine is going to be the next, I suppose, 20 minutes. Once we get to Hamburg, then we can do some multiplayer stuff. But I will say tonight, guys, we must be on our best behaviour, only because we're flying in densely populated areas, and the last thing I want is for my stream to be picking up all sorts of craziness with people saying, let's see, can we fly into the building? So, let's keep it real, homies. Matt Burgess says, at least the Poolbeg towers, please. Well, they have the towers there, but they're not very... Well, they're accurate so far as they have the height correct. You know, and the stadium need to be worked on, or stadium? Whatever it is. As Pat74 is now following over on Twitch. Good evening to you, Pat. I hope you're keeping well. Many thanks to the follow, my dude. Keen Lafford asks, there's an aquarium in Lisbon, and I was wondering if anyone knew if it was modelled. I don't know. That looks pretty impressive down there. Like, as I said, just in front of the Brandenburg Gate, the mesh is kind of incorrect. But again, this is early on. This is photogrammetry kind of just thrown in together. How you know it's photogrammetry, the buildings are all kind of very unique colours. There's a lot of kind of churches and temples and things like that done out. Everything from solar panels up on the roofs, all these little gardens and places here like that as well. So, give it time. Daniel M asks, do third parties ask Microsoft, or what's the story? They do and they don't. If they want to sell a product, they absolutely need to do it through Microsoft. However, Microsoft and Asobo, they're very open to work with the community, whereby you have a number of these freeware bits and bobs, which are free. You can install them into the community folder within the sim, and the sim is happy enough to load them. Okay. Now, Murph, let's see, do you know how to use the autopilot and navigation in a TBM? Map. Yes, we do. Okay, so if we go to navigation, the aircraft is going to bank right, I suppose. Yeah, down to here and then right again. So let's see what happens here, shall we? We're putting the fate of the entire stream into the autopilot. Don't stop me now. Have you checked out the Washington landmarks yet, Murph? I think it's €17.99 on Sim Market. Luna's World did them, and they look very, very good. Now, a lot of the buildings, the facades of the buildings kind of came straight out of X-Plane, but they were still good in X-Plane. Like, I read there this evening, there is a new freeware rendition of one of the Cessna 152s. They've added a lot of functionality to it. They've tweaked the engine, they tweaked the electrical system, they tweaked the engine behaviour. Pardon me, and that's all. I'm hiccuping with my drink. That's all freeware, much the same as the A320X. Now, I was messing around with the A320X last night. It is getting much closer to its real-world counterpart. They've managed to turn on the ADIRs and, you know, you can a couple of more functionalities. But the MFDs didn't power up. I had no screens, which was a bit of a, yeah. But again, it's freeware, and you know, it's there are some developers known in the flight sim community, be it from X-Plane or P3D or even FSX, and you know these developers because they tend to have the best equipment or best add-ons. You also have some very small studios, maybe one or two developers, or even maybe only one, and they have painstakingly attention to detail. In my opinion, these are the people to support because it encourages them. It might give them more flexibility with the hardware that they're using to make these add-ons, and they ultimately release them as freeware. There are other companies who tend to kind of just churn out an aircraft, make a quick buck, and then leave it be. We all know who some of them peoples are. I do believe, though, they are very much necessary for the industry, only because, well, you know, we all want different aircraft. I would love a TBM 850 only because, well, I watch hours upon hours of Steve-O and Knievo, and whereby, you know, this is great here, looking around, and, you know, the Steve-O cam, and you can do all this kind of stuff, but I would very much love the steam-gauged version of a TBM. And the 850, even though it's old, or much older, I'd love that. I would absolutely adore that. But sure, we'll have to see how it goes. Ryan asks, other than Microsoft Flight Sim, what's your other favourite flight sim? I would have to say X-Plane 11. Hands down. When it comes to systems modelling and, you know, hardcore flight simulation, it would have to be X-Plane 11. X-Plane lacks a decent weather engine, even though a third party is very close to making it perfect. Well, actually, there's a few of them making it very close to perfect. SkyMax Pro is very good. Ultraweather XP is getting close, but I think X and Firo are the main ones. They have, if they can get that program optimized and working the way they've intended it to work, it'll be very close to very, very close to what we have here in Microsoft Flight Sim. What Laminar need to do, they've got to do something with their third-party implementation, because they are a much smaller company. You know, they're a very bespoke company, and it's great for the end user like us, because, well, we can send them an email saying, hey, can you add this, or hey, this doesn't work, can you fix it? And they're going to be very fast to respond. That's a huge advantage to have. And also the education application, if you like, whereby you can make your own plane and X-plane. That is sweet. So, yeah. And they got to do something with the lighting model. And the scenery has got awful, but they know all this. And they will do, like, they're going to do all of this. So it'll take a bit of time. Dangerous Brian says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, guys. Many thanks, Brian. Yeah, guys, if you like this kind of stuff, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. And if you're new to this channel, you're all very welcome. If you like what you see, you might consider subscribing or hitting the follow button if you're watching on Twitch. Or don't. That's okay too. Look at the detail there. Look, that's just fantastic. So I was thinking earlier on, I was like, yeah, flying around Germany, it's all kind of very flat and not very interesting. But, well, it's stunning, isn't it? It's very nice. As we have rejoined our magenta line, we're getting an ETA of how long? 14 minutes, is it? ETA of 1 hour and 3 minutes. Ah, yeah, but sure, hang on. Increase the speed there, Betsy. So we're going to go up to 4,500 feet. V-speed. Ramble up there now like a good old devil. And we can turn off our inertial separator as well. Keen Affer says, having the plane on autopilot is better than Murph flying the aircraft, so we don't need to worry. It's always safer in autopilot. Bad Dog says, I'd like to see the Zebo mod in Microsoft Flight Sim. It's brilliant in X-Plane, best freeware ever. I would agree. The Zebo mod is an absolute work of art. But who knows? We might have something similar ramble into Microsoft Flight Sim. But I do know that PMDG are currently working on the 737NG. That should be the next one. And there's another developer working on a 737-400, and that looks absolutely stunning. So let's see what they can do. Daniel M says, there's going to be hiccups with freeware add-ons. Of course there is, you know, and to be fair, if they came out perfect and just left it, they wouldn't be they wouldn't be very good developers. So it's nice that they kind of leave little bits and bobs in and then let the user come back to say, you know, this thing doesn't work or it's broken and can you fix this? So yeah, we wait and see. Mark Burgess asked, did you turn up the brightness on the MFDs? I had to do that with the 320X. Yeah, I tried and still nothing on everything. They just wouldn't turn on. Andy Beeston UK is here. Good evening, everyone, he says. Good evening, Andy. I hope you're keeping well. Paul Garrett is here. He says, good morning, Murph. Great to see you streaming. Good morning to you too, Paul. I hope you're keeping well. Daza says, I can't wait for helicopters to come in. Oh, I know. Dying to get me some choppers here in Microsoft Flight Sim. But again, they're waiting on a couple of things. Like, for example, if we were to use a chopper back there in Berlin, you'd be kind of saying, is this Minecraft? Or, well, maybe not Minecraft, but you know what I mean. The building rendering wouldn't be up to scratch just yet. But give it time and it will be. Dangerous Brian asks, how are you doing on frames after the patch? Not too bad, Brian. I actually suffered worse frames with the latest Nvidia driver. But it appears to be behaving itself now. So patch-wise, performance, my scenery takes a little bit longer to load in, but I have noticed better FPS. Like, I was flying in New York the other day with like 65 to 70 frames. Like, it was off the hook. Daza says Exaviro is great, but really tanks the FPS. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, once Laminar are once they stop tinkering with the product and Exaviro can catch up, then they'll start working on optimization. But then again, Laminar ain't going to just stop with the product. They're constantly evolving the simulator. Like Austin's talking about this new next gen weather system, and it looks impressive. Like this thing out of the box and what he's trying to get it to do. This is fascinating. We need the graphics now to catch up to really kind of catch you in the immersion of it. Benny P is here. He says, good evening, Murph. Do you have any news on the 79 gig update from Microsoft? No news yet. I do believe there's an update coming out somewhere around the 24th of September. I don't particularly think it'll be quite a large update. I'd be surprised if it's any more than 1 gig. But I think the one after that then is going to be a paid upgrade or a paid add-on, rumoured to include either helicopters or VR or both. But then again, we don't really know, so it could be anything. So we shall see. Ryan Trafall is here. How low can you go? Can you go down low? Oh yeah. Nico's here. Hey Murph, is there any way to turn down the brightness of the Garmin on the TBM very bright at night? Well, there should be. So you have your main panel lights up here, but they're only kind of your other lights. I know what you're saying. Let me think. Usually you'd have an option in here to lower them. Let's see. Heading, no. Leave that one with me. Some aircraft are too bright at night time. Now you can edit them with the CFG file. I don't necessarily recommend doing that the whole time. Kendra's going to go nuts. I've just suddenly realised Kendra said go over Tegel or Tegel, and I didn't. We'll have to do that the next time, Kendra. That was like epic failure number 1 for tonight's stream. I told you it's going to be one of them nights. But don't worry, we'll do something over that neck of the woods soon. I promise. Ryan says, can you hit the floor? If I did, I wouldn't get back up again. Harry Quinlan is here. He says, is the pack free and is the new aircraft coming? So the packs that they do each month is going to be free. There is going to be paid add-ons where they add in maybe new aircraft or new features perhaps, payware quality stuff. But by and large, the sim is going to be updated for free for the remaining of its life, and they reckon, you know, they've already committed to 10 years. So let's see what happens. Joseph says, put the pedal to the metal. He didn't say put the pedal to the metal, he said put the pedal to the metal. Metal. T, Murphy. Pronounce your T's, man. Andrew Noble is here. He says, hello, Mr. Murphy. Hello, Mr. Noble. Good evening to you. Ludos says, okay, I'm back now. Waltons is here as well. Good evening to you, Waltons. Happy Monday, my dude. Hope you're keeping well. Ryan says, I'd love to see New York. If you jump back on YouTube, Ryan, there is a video when we go to New York. Do check it out. It's pretty impressive. D. O'Sullivan 12, how do you use VATSIM? D. O'Sullivan 12, if you ramble over to our Discord, we do discuss this at length. And between both myself and Colonel Fork 85, we have a number of video tutorials put up from other content creators. And I have to say, it's absolutely amazing. VATSIM, to fly on VATSIM is a game changer, guys. And okay, you got to do a bit of studying and reading up, but that's all about a simulation. That's what we do. But I can't recommend it enough. Ryan says, if I try to run this on my computer, I get 1 frame per millennium, and the insta crash on my PC will turn off. Too bad, dude. But let's see what happens. Hopefully they're going to have a console release coming in the next couple of weeks or months. Fergus Riley is here. He says, hi. Good evening to you, Fergus. Happy Monday to you, my dude. I hope you're keeping well. How long do you reckon until Hamburg? I'm going to say 20 minutes as we put a bit of oomph into the machine here. So you have an ETE here on your main panel, this gadget. So as I increase my speed, having my torque up here at 91, we're getting faster. So I reckon we're going to end up at around 225 knots, give or take. So this speed will keep, or this distance or time is going to keep getting smaller and smaller based on the current speed. So we'll plan it for 25 minutes. It might be a little bit quicker as well. Ryan says, I could land a plane, no problem, but I can only do it once. SK Sun is here. Good evening to you. He says, how fast can this thing fly? Pretty fast. It kind of cruises along there at around kind of 240 to 250 knots. Paul Garrett says, would love to see track up instead of north up. Stand by. You can do it in the real aircraft. So you have what's called a north up or a track up kind of person. I like north up, as in it'll always display north at the top of the screen and your aircraft in relation to where it is. Track up means the airplane would be actually facing the top of the screen and everything kind of flows along with it. It's kind of user preference. So 240 knots giving us an ETA of about 22 minutes up to Hamburg. Joe Blow says, hi Two-Tone, is there an instrument light for night flying in the Cessna 152? Is there an instrument light for night flying? An instrument light? I'll need to double check that. I think there is some sort of panel light. You definitely have an overhead light, and failing that, if you were to, you can bind a button to like the aviation flashlight or a torch, and you can use the torch. I don't know how well the 152 would be rated for nighttime flying though. Kendra asks, any plans on merch? Well, I do have some merch available, so I just need to see kind of how good quality kind of stuff is. So I have, I'll put back on my camera. There's me, look. How are you lads? I'm wearing a Two-Tone Murphy hoodie, which has this beautiful emblem in the hoodie. And it's just like your normal hoodie. So I got one of these just to see what they were like. And it's a zipper hoodie, and yet they're grand. But I'm not mad at the prices of this stuff, you know. Like it's, yeah, I can't remember even how much I have them priced at. But I'm a big believer in like, I don't want to say cheap merch, but I want to say very good value. And the overall plan is, I want to kind of, when I'm building up this channel a little bit more, I want to add different features, I want to add different emojis, I want to add just different things. I want to give back to the community in a way, but not in a stupid way. I want to be able to include merch as kind of rewards, I suppose, for you lot having to sit through a stream. Because I imagine, the excitement probably wears off after about 11 seconds, maybe 12 seconds, and depending on where we're flying, we could even get 20 seconds. Now, maybe. But by and large, I want to use it as kind of like a reward thing, whereby you guys are taking the time out of your day to tune in and look at this Age of trying to do a bit of flying. And I'd like to run different competitions maybe and all this kind of good stuff. And then eventually, if the channel's finances allow, which hopefully they will with the more videos I create, and if there's monetization on adverts and all this kind of stuff, I would love to have kind of landing challenges, and the best pilot of the night gets a something. That's my idea anyway. We shall see. Ryan says, I'm really surprised Microsoft didn't charge a subscription for this, or do they? Well, they have it on the Xbox Game Pass. That's a subscription service. Or you can buy the platform outright for various prices. Gabriel Dillon is here. He says, good evening, all you tiny people in my computer. There's loads of us in here, Gabriel. At the minute, there's over 103 of us. With me, it's 104. How do we all fit in that small box of a computer you have? Tarso is here. Good evening to you. There was a head-mounted flashlight thing. I don't remember the default on the keyboard. Indeed there is. Joe, if you want to check that one out. Ryan says, what plane will you be flying in multiplayer? Not sure. It definitely won't be this, because this is too fast. I'll probably go for... I'll see. I'll double-check the distance from Hamburg over to Bremen. Cockney John is here. Good evening to you, John. He says, hey, Murph. I hope you're well. It's weird. I was just flying the TBM from LYDD down to the far south west of England. Sweet. Billy Walt says the 152 has a red lighting when you select the dome lighting mode. Cool. Marcus E is here. He said, is there a way to turn on airways on the MFD? At the moment, no. Not yet. Not the TBM anyway. I could be wrong, but I don't believe there is. Billy Wall says 12.5 to be precise. Ryan says, can I do a barrel roll? I can, but I get awful dizzy. Billy Wall says, to be fair, it's quite relaxing after a day's work. Billy, are you trying to say that this helps you fall asleep? Hey Murph, we sit through it because we like it, says Bad Dog. Well, thank you, Bad Dog. And your passenger's flight 2, indeed. Plumpy Nuttis here. How are you, Murphy? Just tuned in. Where are we at the moment? My girlfriend is from Dresden. Any flyover on the horizon. Far and away, the prettiest city in Germany. We're moving away from Dresden. We took off from Berlin. We're now heading up towards Hamburg, and once we get to Hamburg, we're going to head over to Bremen. But at some stage, I will go back to Berlin for Kendra. She wanted to see Tegel, or not Tegel, Tegel, or Tegel. How do you pronounce it? Spell it out. And then we'll probably head over to the likes of, say, Dresden, and eventually then I want to head south to Munich. I want to go over to Salzburg, and I want to go to Innsbruck. That's going to be the next bit of crack we'll have. Twitch Ninja Shaper 1577. Love your stream. Many thanks, Twitch Ninja. Andrew Noble says, are you flying GPS at the moment? Yes. Papa Joe says 55 nautical miles Hamburg to Bremen. We'll probably do it maybe in a 172 so. Marcus says, thanks for the reply, love the channel and keep up the great work. Okay, Ludus says it's Tegel? Am I pronouncing that right? This is like, you know, the school for the insanely doofuses. Innsbruck is good fun, alright, says Billy Walsh. It just is. So we have some beautiful German countryside here. Plumpy Nut says, is it Tegel? Like a cup of tea. Tegel! Ah, Plumpy Nut! See, I see what you did there. You made it relevant. You made it relevant to an Irish fella if you say it's like a cup of tea. So it's essentially called Tegel. Promote that man. So let's have a look, see where we are, shall we? Berlin, Hamburg, We're about halfway there. Ryan asked for an ETA, about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Bad Dog says, don't go to Stuttgart, it ain't there. I knew a fella who went to Stuttgart. His name is Jockster. Gup Slayer is here. Good evening to you, Gup. He says, hello, Murph. I hope you're having a fine evening. Very well, Gup. Happy Monday to you, dude. You're very welcome along. $240.91. We're looking good. Andrew Noble says, just put passenger effects into X-Plane and did some bad flying. It made the passenger scream. It's always fun. S. Voigt is here. Good evening to you, Scott. He says, hey, look who I found. Yet another no notification. Sigh. Yeah, I really need to do something there for you, Scott. I don't know what I'm doing or not doing, but I'll work on it, my friend. But anyway, welcome along. Happy Labor Day. Nvidia Crusader is here. He says, hi all, working from home and watching. Good evening to you, Nvidia Crusader. You're very welcome along. Bill Sharkman is here. He says, thinking of studying over in Galway, but never been there. Is it any good? What are you thinking of studying? Paul Garrett says, a new prop for the 930 costs $18,000 US. We better mind this one so. Daniel M says, I'm guessing that's the Rhine River out the window. If some of our German friends could verify. Luna says, so happy that you fly in Germany. Bastian 111 is here. He says, why are you so low? This plane has a ceiling altitude of 31,000 feet. Yeah, but like, you wouldn't see much of the scenery when you're all the way up above the clouds. Know what I mean? Kendra has reported back stating it's not the Rhine, it's the Elbe. Now, did I pronounce that right? Is it the Elbe? But Bastian, that is quite a good question, but I'm purely flying it this low and slow. VFR number one, even though we're breaking the speed limit, and number two is just to kind of check out some of the scenery. Luda says, near my home base airport there was a really, really challenging airport. With the E at the end, Elbe. Elbe? Mark Intella says, Murph, are you thinking about upgrading your video card with the new Nvidia launch? Mark, don't mention the war. So, I have a wedding anniversary today. I'm 8 years happily married. And this morning at breakfast, when I came down, after, dolling myself up to the nines for work, there I sat with my cornflakes, and there was a card on the table with my name on it. And my darling wife looking at me with the kind of surprised and somewhat puzzled look based on the reaction that I gave her. I looked very confused, and I opened said card and I said, happy anniversary. And after silently in my head, after inventing, I reckon, 11 new swear words, I didn't say them out loud, so it's okay, I said to myself, oh dear, I didn't forget, I just forgot. So that's how my day started. Now, later on in the day, I somewhat redeemed myself by having flowers delivered, but of course, that's what you do. And, yeah. Andrew Noble says, congrats, many thanks. 8 years. Seemingly I was going to say the prize. The Nvidia Crusader has donated 5 through the super chat. Many thanks, my dude. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so I got flowers delivered. which was grand. You know, I went from being the bad husband to the, well, you're okay, let's try it another year. Elb, the E on the end sounds like an A, so is it Elba? So yes, so Murphy was in the wrong, big style, but it's okay now. Kendra says, happy anniversary. Next year we remind you. Many thanks, Kendra, that'll help so much. So we had a bit of crack the other night whereby Wifey was listening into the stream, and I made the peoples in the chat aware that Wifey was listening in on the stream, and we started talking about the new graphics card, the 3090, which is seemingly only going to cost $199, and it comes with a free fitted kitchen. Obviously it doesn't, and it's expensive, and we'll have to wait. So yeah, at the moment she hasn't sent me any sort of a message or indication that she is indeed watching tonight's stream, so in that case we can talk as if it's just you and I. Scott says, congratulations sir, however, need to have a chat with you about doing simming on an anniversary, not a way to get out of the doghouse. Scott, I have redefined the doghouse. The doghouse now houses a relatively beefy PC, lights, sound equipment. I like to call it a man cave, but it is most certainly a doghouse. And I tend to ramble in here. Jim says, she's upstairs packing her bags, mate. And then Dazza, of course, throws the other dagger in saying, don't you mean the £8,000 graphics card? There was a discussion at length, Dazza, over that, whereby she had said, there is no way you're spending €8,000 on a graphics card. And I was like, no, that was a joke. It was a joke. It's not 8,000. And then she says, well, I suppose if it's only €200, like, that's okay. I was at that stage, I immediately stopped talking and smiled and changed the subject. Robin Terry says, by the way, the pilot was from Ireland. Yep, she has to get her kitchen first. Yes, I'm going to build a kitchen first. And, yeah. Paul says, now I get it. You're locked in there. They mostly come at night. Mostly. I know, it's all good. Well, I say it's all good. But it is. Scott says, smart man, just save up with your super chats. Oh yeah. Dazza says, sorry Murph, I hope you told Mrs. Murphy it was actually 5,000. Yeah, that made it better. It's a nice kind of I won't say an even number, but it's a rounded figure. But these are the things I suppose we all have to well, we all have to put up with, don't we? Mark Intella says, I was going to say, don't buy them, they're no good. Murphy, how's that? You'll be getting hot tongue, cold shower if you don't watch out, says Kenneth. I probably will. Dangerous Brian says, I design and install kitchens for a living. Brian, that comes as kind of very relieving news, but also a little bit of terror as well. Ryan says, after talking to her about the €8,000 graphics card, you should have mentioned you were going to get two of them and run them in SLI. Creamers is asking, no wing flex, question mark. I haven't noticed wing flex in the TBM. But I think it is. I think there is. I'm unsure. As Voight says, all kitchens are expensive. MB944 says, holy cow, is this Flight Sim 2020? Do you see what I did there with the holy cow? It is Flight Sim 2020, MB944, and you're very welcome along. Happy Monday to you. It won't do SLI unless maybe the 3090, I agree. Dangerous Brian says, I will guide you, Murphy. Many thanks, Brian. I think I know some of the steps. The steps you take when being asked to fit a kitchen is very large steps in the opposite direction and keep going. Mark says, Murphy, remember, it's a collector's item. Oh yeah. Okay, so quick status check. We are 5 minutes away. That's why we have a whole load of chop coming in. So we're going to bring our speed back, as we have a lot of stuff loading in for Hamburg. I was in Hamburg once before. So I think it's up here somewhere. We'll slow ourselves down. We can probably turn on our inertial separator now. That'll help with the airflow in with the engine. And our speed is quite low, and our torque is quite low, so we should be good. Stay away from IKEA. Scott says, Hamburg is where my mother was born and where I visit my cousins. Nice. I have to say, I very much enjoyed Hamburg. Beautiful city. A big city. And there's a church, I forget the name of it, but it's still standing. It's whatever, it's a medieval church. And it's all turned black from, like, you know, the bombings and pollution and whatnot. And when you're up there, there's an elevator that brings you up to the steeple. And so, sir, caution light telling us the inertial separator is now on. But yeah, in this steeple anyway, they have photographs of what Hamburg was like kind of prior to the bombings and what it looks like now. And it's a very chilling experience. So you have all these photos of like the cityscapes and how all the buildings looked. And now you have kind of the modern day, whereby it's pretty much leveled completely. But I really enjoyed Hamburg. It's a mad city. There's all different areas. Like most cities, they have all the different kind of areas and locales and whatnot. And they have their version of Amsterdam in it. They call it the Reeperbahn, which is like mainly pubs and clubs and neon lights that would, I suppose, cater to a certain persuasion. But the pubs and clubs are great fun. Scott says, sit on the side of the Ulster and enjoy an Ulster Wasser. MB944 says, what type of monitor do you have? Is it a 1440p? I have a small monitor, a 24-inch 1440 that I actually use for my chat and my stream. The main screen that I use for Flight Sim is a 55-inch TV. It's just a HD TV. So I everything I do is kind of 1080p. Ah, Kendra's back. Look at this. Kendra, you are the salmon of knowledge for this evening. She says the black church is the Nikolai Kirche. Awesome. Ian Bennett says, now, Ian, if I were to ask you how can you quantify or qualify that statement, but I won't, I'm only joking. He says, Hamburg has the biggest red light district in the world. Holy cow. Scott says, ladies of the evening. Indeed. Bill Sharkman says, Amsterdam is amazing. Do you know, I was only in Amsterdam once, and it was pretty much after I hit the ground out of Texel, after my parachute jump, and I was in a wheelchair. And a wheelchair in Amsterdam, when you're with a group of lads, isn't the most fun thing to do because there's a lot of cobblestones. So the guys used to just leave me outside to mind baggage. So they go into a pub or they go in for a bite to eat, and I'd be just kind of left in like an area with all the bags. And then obviously they went out bananas that night and I had to stay in my hotel room. Great fun was had. So Amsterdam is definitely on the list of places I want to go back to. The Video Crusader says, oh my, OMG, the flashbacks of the dam. Another great city I was in for the social antics that most, well, I think we all get up to at some stage in our lives. I think us Irish just have a knack for it. Myself and my buddy went to Budapest. Now, that place was off the hook. Scott says, so many great places in Europe to go and see, just need money and time. I have one of those now, and it isn't money. I can absolutely relate to that, Scott. And not to mention the pandemic kind of has everything under wraps for the moment, which is a bit of a bummer, to say the least. Luda says, my internet doesn't work anymore. Oh, that's too bad, dude. Cop says, which runway are we using? I believe we're using runway 24. Says you, there isn't a 2-4. Well, it looks like 2-4. It's over there. Is there a link to the Discord? Indeed there is. Marcus says, haven't explored Europe yet in the game. Is it pretty accurate to you? Yes, parts of it are very accurate. Budapest, €5, can't be bet. Scott says, well, there is that. I hope we have a vaccine for next summer. I have plans. You and me both, dude. There's so much I want to do. Have any of you guys gone to one of these flight sim cons? Be it in the United Kingdom or over in the United States? Or Germany, for that matter? Papa Joe says, any idea of which ramp we'll be gathering at Hamburg? Not sure, but once I get down there, I'll try and figure it out. What's our speed here, Murph? 164. So we're here. So we have two little airports. We have this. There's a nice one actually over here. Hamburg is a massive airport, but don't worry, we're going to do a bit of a fly around just to see what we can see in the city. But there is a tidy looking airport over here. But we'll worry about it now in a minute. So my plan is go over the airport, be a couple of left turns, and then we're going to come back into this runway here, which would be runway 33. And my plan is we'll be departing from just here somewhere. So let's see how it all turns out, shall we? Sparker in VR says, yes, been to Flight Sim Expo 3 times. Nice. Where was that, dude? Was that in Vegas? Dangerous Brian says, no, not me. Gop says, yes, they had one here in Vegas about 2 years ago. Sweet. Scott says, never have. In the past, wasn't much into flight sims, other than some kind of the old fighter sims. Was more into real flying. Cool. Well, Scott, depending on your plans for next year, or the year after for that matter, I definitely want to go out to the States to a flight sim convention just to check it all out. Spark and VR says Vegas and Orlando. What are they like? Like, apart from, like, you know, a heap of us kind of rambling over to Vegas or to Florida. Or to the one, Cosford, I think. RAF Cos, is it Cosford? They do one as well. That would be definitely the closest one to me. Kendra says, that's the air. I knew it! That's the Airbus airport. Now, hang on. Finkenwerder. I said that earlier on in the intro. We're going to have a look at the Airbus factory over in Finkenwerder. Say that fast 10 times to your eyes closed. Finkenwerder, Finkenwerder. Anyway. Anthony Harkin is here. He says, I loved your dirty vid. Many thanks, Anthony. Glad you enjoyed it, my dude. Ryan says, everyone who wants to play multiplayer with Murph, keep in mind they have to change your server to North Europe. Click on your profile pic on the top right to change. Many thanks for the help. Ryan, fair dues to you. Billy Walsh, Comic Con is in Dublin. It's a great convention talking about them. S5 Duxford. Duxford is a place I would love to go. So many people with the same interests as Spark and VR. Yeah, like that is kind of the main draw to it. And like it's also going to be a great chance to, you know, to meet up with people and share a few beverages and share stories and experiences, kind of what we're doing here, but in a more included way, I suppose. Andy Murphy is here. He says, hey Murph. Hey Murph. How's it going, Andy? Andy is also a Murphy, so we get to call you Murph. Tam is here as well. Good evening to you. He says, hello Murphy. Hope all is well. Very well. Many thanks, Tam. I hope you're keeping well, dude. Happy Monday. So I think I'm right in saying, if you can see from the colours here, they have some of the city done with photogrammetry and then some of the city done with kind of generic scenery, I suppose. Ryan says, everyone excited to go night flying in Hamburg. Sounds like a plan. Billy Waz says, did you know that there was a Buccaneer parked in Weston? Not sure if it's still there. Sweet. Ian Bennett says, speaking of beverages, I got a bottle of Redbreast 21 for my birthday last weekend. Nice. Mine Ganultas is here. Good evening to you. Many thanks for joining us. So we'll do another kind of 90-degree left turn here. Oh, steady. Keen Laffer says, when I went to the Eurovision, it was great because I met people from all over the world with the same interests as me. It was amazing. Keen, you need to elaborate on the whole Eurovision thing. Are you a fan or are you part of some sort of production, perhaps? Barkin VR says, I just go down with Twitch stream in southern Arizona, where I was stationed in the army in 1973. Sweet! How was the scenery? Did everything come up the way it should have? So we have some scenery loading in now. This is going to be cool. Keen says, I'm a fan of Eurovision. Nice one, dude. Bring back the days of Johnny Logan. V Rain is here asking, do you need to know how to fly a plane to enjoy the simulator? No, dude. The simulator will actually hold your hand. It'll teach you how to fly. There's a number of tutorials. You can use anything from a keyboard and mouse to an Xbox controller, all the way to some of the fancier kind of hardware like joysticks and yokes. But at the moment, it's very much a platform to go exploring. They are adding more functionality to the simulation side of things with the avionics and the all the different dials and switches in the aircraft. They got to do a bit of work on the autopilot for sure. The weather system or the weather engine in the sim is absolutely amazing when it works, and I have to say it's been working very well since the latest patch. Spark and VR says, just like I remembered, found some fire roads that we went down on with a Land Rover. That's awesome, dude. Philip Breen says, very passionate. It's almost like you count down the days. Billy Walt says, he does though. That's okay. That's okay, rather Keen. Each to our own. There's nothing like a bit of Eurovision. Billy Walt says, I'll be counting down the days to the Bray Air Display of 2021. Not to mention the virtual Bray Air Display we're going to have on this channel relatively soon, I hope. This looks really nice. Keane says, I met Linda Martin, Mark Roberts, and Mickey Joe. Nice one, dude. Okay, Matt, I'm going to give this a shot now, but it could end up in tears. Is the Elb Philharmonie in Hamburg Concert Hall modelled? If I can pronounce it, I'll say yes. But it's kind of decent. When I was here, like, we walked up... hang on, we're getting my bearings. We walked up this side, and we crossed a bridge somewhere, and yeah, we went cycling and stuff. It's a big city. Scott says, every group fly you do is an air show. Or sometimes air crash investigation, or seconds before disaster. The old tunnel has elevators to take you down and up. Sweet. So I have to say, this is autopilot off. I'm really impressed with this city. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? Luna says, okay, I think it works again. Everyone cross your fingers and your toes, hands and feet for Ludos, and let's hope that his internet works. Bill Sharkman asks, ever done a trip to Prague? In real life, I mean. I have not. Buddies of mine have been in Prague. They said it's very good. Prague is definitely on the hit list of places to visit. Okay, so we're going to get ourselves kind of fixed up here for a bit of a landing. That's the plan, at least. I notice when you deactivate the autopilot, you lose your trim controls. The Philharmonie. You're directly under it, Murph. Stand by. Interesting. Leslie Halford says, are we doing a group flight today? Yes, we are. Ian Halford says, I'd love to go to Stockholm. That'd be pretty sweet, dude. I wonder, is that the church? It's kind of in the middle of places, I think. As the old scenery loads in here.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Okay, watch your real speed here, Murph.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
That's okay. We know what we're about.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Landing gear coming down. Get ourselves into the white arc here. We can deploy some flaps. We're high and fast. Nothing new there. Brandon Livingston is here. He says, I need this game. I know, right? Okay, so your ears are going to go pop because, well, this is a brutal approach, but yeah, it's okay. Please forgive me. I'm eager to get on the ground to get our group flight started. Look at that for a view. I have to say, I'm impressed with the scenery here. It's I didn't think it was this good. It's cool. Yeah, I might go with the 172 for our next flight. We'll see. I'll double check the map and kind of see what time we have. Okay, we're still a little bit high. Now we're on the glide slope. We'll ramble in. Ulster ahead. Ah. So I think when we flew into Hamburg it was dark, and when we flew out I was hanging. I was very hungover, so I can't remember much about it. They had planes there, I do remember that. But that's about it. This is going to be butter. Billy, don't jinx it now. Runway 33. Let's see what we can do here. Make Stevo one Knievo proud. And keep it on the center line. We'll watch the flare. Going to beta range with the reversers. Touchdown on all three. That was kind of butter, I will admit. Go ahead, use a bit of manual braking. Get our throttles out of beta range. Bring our flaps back in. And welcome to Hamburg. A little bit of a sharp turn, but that's okay, we'll get over ourselves. Landing lights off, leave our taxi lights on as we rumble in towards the ramp. Kerry Gold. You just spread margarine all over the runway. Steve was going to be happy watching this. That went kind of well. Many thanks, my dudes, as Connor Nolan has just subscribed. Many thanks, Connor. Happy Monday to you, sir. I hope you're having a pleasant day. So Sharkman says, you make it look easy. It ain't easy. It's never easy. And Murph has got himself a piece of toast. Okay, we're not going to hang around very long here, because I'm eager to get you guys all involved with the flight. So let's see here now, shall we? Yes. Blatant abandonmentism of the aircraft. Don't mind the taxi lights, they're just hanging around doing nothing. We'll park it in like we're a boss. Over by the little shed here. Or the doghouse, depending on our persuasion. So that'll do. Park and brake can now go to on. Warning light to say park and brake is on. Switched. Flight director's coming off. Going to beta range and into low idle. Low idle. Low idle. There's low idle. Bleeds can come off. Get our taxi lights off. Strobes and pulse, they can all come off here as well. Ignition already off. Fuel selector off. AP and trims off. And they're all okay here for the moment. Cancel the caution lights. And kill the throttle. The sounds of this thing are amazing. Fuel pumps are still on. Shh. Be quiet now. And we go ahead and kill the battery. Welcome to Hamburg. Well, wasn't that fun? Cue the shameless plug, says Keane. Don't mind if I do. Conor Nolan asks, what part of Dublin am I from? Kind of the southwest, I suppose, or the west. Originally, kind of Baldonnel neck of the woods. Well, Baldonnel neck of the woods. That's not where aircraft normally are, says Kendra. That's okay. We asked for permission and they said, Murph, it's okay. We feel your pain. You made a bit of an idiot of yourself today in your real life. You can park here tonight. Aaron is here as well. He says, hello, love the vids. Many thanks, Aaron. Skang Blaster's here. He said, what's up, Tony? Big fan. You're very welcome, Skang Blaster. Happy Monday to you, dude. Walton says, who's getting the first round of Steins in? Steins for everyone. Alrighty. So we're going to jump up here now. Main menu. And continue. And we have this camera now. See, I've done things to the screen. It's all happening. But I need to do more. So we shall exit the simulator And we're going to do a full reload. It's next to the coffee bar named Coffee to Fly. It's okay. Now, let's see here, shall we? Ed Reed is here. Good evening to you, Ed. He says, cheers, lad. Sláinte. Ah. So as we wait for the sim to boot up, let's hope it does so without issue. It's thinking about it. Kendra says, I'll have to drop out for the night. That's okay, Kendra. Many thanks for all your help this evening, for the tourist guides and telling us where everywhere is. And we'll hopefully catch you on the next stream. Take care. What are the best places to fly over in Ireland in flight sim? Depends really. Like anywhere out the west is really nice. Donegal Airport is modelled really, really well. There's a lot of great mesh there. They have the Cliffs of Moher somewhat there. Then again, over the east coast, Dublin is alright-ish. So yeah, anywhere really, dude. Bill Barrett is here. Good evening, my friend. Or good day, my friend. Hello, Bill. I hope you're keeping well, dude. Happy Monday. Waterford is the best. I don't know. There's great contention in the area. How long before stream budget allows you to get a real plane? How much was that chair, Murphy? And can you tell us, or you can tell us, as our indoors is not watching. The chair, this is an Orosi chair. I have two of them. I can't move my camera because then I'll break everything. But I have this one, which is the new one, and the old one, which looks identical to it, is the old one. I think they're about €230, I think. But I swear by them. I find them to be very comfortable, and to be honest, I haven't really tried other kind of gaming chairs. I know the GT Omegas or the GT Racer are supposed to be very good. But, yeah. We should see. Mr. Chippy is here. He says, happy Monday, folks. Good evening, Mr. Chippy. Happy Monday to you too, sir. Hope you're keeping well. Scott says, the Ring of Kerry is nice. It really is nice. Anywhere kind of down around the weird places in Ireland is always nice. Scott says, did the old one hold up? It did for about 2.5 years. Like, these chairs recline 90 degrees, as in you can sleep in these things if you had to. I have often been in here and woken up to say, you've done it again. You stayed up all night watching that thing. So yeah, it can happen. Did you say where we are flying in the group? So we're going to take off from Hamburg, Echo Delta Delta Hotel, and we're going to fly down to Bremen, which is Echo Delta Delta Whiskey. That's where we're going. Keen Laffer says, did you get your fitted kitchen yet? That serves you breakfast in bed. No, that is very much a work in progress. So let's see here. I'm digging the tunage. It's like something mad is going to happen. ATC options. That's good. So where did we say we're going from? EDDH. Zoom 2 details. Oh, we can see people's on the ground. So I'm going to go for ramp 56 parking. We want to go to EDD Whiskey. EDD Whiskey. Bremen. So it's given like a 26-minute flight in a Cessna. So let's not go in a Cessna. Let's go in something slower, shall we? So what's the Cessna doing? 124 knots. Let's see here, shall we? Something a little bit slower. I know what I could do, because I absolutely adore this aircraft. The Zlin Aviation Savage Cub. With the added headache is there's no GPS in this. So this is going to be absolutely a howl a minute. So we'll fly the old way. Now, flight and conditions. All players, we want to go to daytime because, well, it can be the daytime of the night. And server says automatic Northern Europe. That looks good to me. This could be a disaster or it could be very good. I don't know yet. Hit that button and we shall start flying. Awesome Pilot Michael says, sorry I'm late. Happy Monday to all. Awesome Pilot Michael, you're very welcome. Matt Meehan is here. Hi Tony. Who's Tony? Are you trying to say two-tone or Tony? You can call me Tony. I've been called far worse. Big fan. Always love the live streams every night. Best flyer around. Cool. Leslie says, what are we flying? I'm going for the Savage Cub. Scott says, I see that the Colonel isn't here. Left him a link on Discord to answer his question about arrival procedures into Osh. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. C208, you can go with the C208. Cessna 152, you can go with the Cessna C152. I'm going to jump in the Savage Cub, only because, well, I like it. So we'll give this a few minutes to load up. There's even an A320 here. Okay. Joseph Gambino's going with the SR22. Ian Bennett says, so if your name isn't Tony, what is it? It's Two-Tone Murphy. Or Robin is my first name. That's Robin with an I. Ed Reed says, have you explored the Belfast shipyards yet, home of Titanic? I have. They're not wonderful just yet, but they will be. This is going to be a hoot. Okay, Sim, really behave yourself. And to our flyers who have joined us in multiplayer, behave yourselves. Don't forget, let's keep this channel respectable. Anyone acting the we'll let that one go. Anyone acting the doofus will be removed. Only because I don't want the headache of people saying that's not really suitable. If you catch my drift. But we'll still have good fun, don't worry. So let that be a warning to you all. Billy says, I can assure you it's not me in the A320 today. Okay. So our flight plan, open a little map. Do you know what would be really handy here if there was a compass? So essentially, you're going to have 0, 180, you're going to have 270, 180, 270. I'm going to say 220 heading. Samantha's here as well. Good evening to you. Scott says, oh my, I will mind my P's and Q's. Okay, let's see what happens here, shall we? Hey, good morning. As Ryan Patterson has just subscribed. Many thanks, Ryan. You're very welcome to the channel. Jim Oates says, thanks, Murph, for keeping it a family-friendly channel. That's what it's all about. There are always going to be young ears listening because it's such a very good sim and sim or game, depending on your persuasion. I like to refer to it as a sim. But yeah, common kind of courtesies, dudes. That's all we need. Benny P says, sorry, it was me in the A320. We'll change it to a caravan. No worries, dude. Okay, Murph, do we remember how to fly this? So, choke comes out. Ignitions. Okay, so this is going to be the battery over here. But you can't start it with the ignitions off. So, I just wanted one turn. Battery on. Grand. Lights. They're all good. There's no, whatchamacallit. There's no pump. Fuel. What's that for? Okay, who's got the key? Do we need it? What's up on this side? Ah, look, here's fuel. Left tank. Right tank. There are your fuel tanks in this little machine here. So we're okay, we're pretty much almost full. Which is good. The stream is a little bit on the choppy side, but let's hope it all works. So, ignition switches left and right come on. We have no parking brake as such, so we need to press and hold our pedal brakes. There's a good start. Choke comes in. Avionics switch on. Transponder. Now, we're still in Germany. We're going to be flying less than 5,000 feet. So we need to go to 0021. 0. 0. 2. 1. Enter. Ident now. Ground altitude mode, please. Thanks very much. Okay, I think we're kind of getting somewhere. Set heading and altimeter. Quick look outside. We have dudes all over the place. Sure, here's only a crew of lads. Okay, so you can pretty much pick any runway you want to depart, guys. As I said, once we kind of depart Hamburg, we're going to be heading, I think, 220, which is kind of to the southwest down to Bremen. Kenton Naughton says, padlock on to stop you smashing flight sim on crashing. I like it. I like that. That is our safety device. Dangerous Brian says, we're a little low on the likes, guys. That's okay. The brakes make no... they squeak. Okay. Let's see if we can ramble out of here, shall we? Joseph Gambino, make sure you're selecting all players and you're on the North Europe server. It's an open group, so there's no invites. So in your settings, back in the main menu, select all players. Make sure you change your server if you click up on your username up in the top right hand corner. And yeah, North Europe, and you should be good to go. Okay, well I'm going this way because I don't need a whole lot of runway. Wesley says the correct takeoff runway will be 23. I do believe we're going on... what are we going on? Okay, we're going 05, so we'll turn hard left and that'll kind of get us halfway out. So let's see what happens, shall we? We shall throw caution to the wind, spin around here to the left. The tiniest little notch of flaps.
Hey, good morning.
Two Pals is now following. Many thanks, my dude. Happy Monday to you. I hope you're keeping well. Right, I think we're good to go. Mike is here as well. Good evening to you, Mike. That's ridiculous. This plane is just like instantly airborne. Gabriel Dillon says, guys, 185 watching, only 75 likes. Hit the button, guys, and give the stream some support. Many thanks, Gabriel. But don't worry about it, guys. I don't want to be nagging people. Just do your thing, and I'll keep doing my thing, and it's all good. Barat is here. He says, how are you, friends? Good evening to you, Barat. I hope you're keeping well. Happy happy Monday to you. There's a sporty takeoff here.
Appreciate the comeback, good money.
Two Pals is raiding with a party. Many thanks, Two Pals, and you're all very welcome from the stream. Hope you had a good stream tonight, my dude. Captain Chaos is here. Many thanks, my dude. So we're on, well, we're not on the ground anymore. We just took off. We're here in Hamburg. We flew down from Berlin earlier on, and we're going to go from Hamburg over to Bremen. But before we do that, we're going to check out some of the sites as we consult our little mapperoonie here. So we're kind of you'd swear I knew what I was doing. We're pretty much spot on. So it's a 240 heading, not a 220, or not a 220, but that's okay. Two Pals says, howdy mate, apologies the raid isn't bigger. Not at all, my dude. Mikey is very here. Good evening to you, my dude. Happy Monday. Okay, so this is where the airport across the way is. I do believe this is where there is an Airbus factory, so we're going to check it out. Mikey is every here. I keep saying that wrong, but many thanks for the follow, my dude. Mikey is very here. There's like a shine on the screen when I look over. Any excuse, right? Any excuse. So let's have a look behind us here. Get my mush out of your way. And we'll hit a bit of kind of, well, we'll go for some music, shall we? We have some peoples. Gig the Gig is here. He says, well, how's life? Very well, my dude. I hope you're keeping well. Gravezi M2T is here. He says hello. Matthew Heath says, I have a second to like. Nice one, buddy. Really appreciate it. So, taking off here from Hamburg. There's someone getting famous. So we have Hamburg over here on our left-hand side. This airport over here on the left is home to an Airbus factory, and it's called Finkenwerder. I could have butchered the name, but that's where it is. Finkenwerder. We have some nice, tidy formation flying here with the dudes. And we have a football stadium modelled as well. That's pretty cool. Okay, Murph, let's see, can you keep this in somewhat level flight for the guys? Get ourselves trimmed out here. That'll kind of do. We're looking good. Ed Reed says, screenshot. I know, that's exactly what I was doing, dude. Captain Chaos says, just been holding on to avoid the rush. Has the download time improved with the patch? I think so. So all the issues they were having prior to the patch, I believe, are sorted with the install. Dangerous Brian says, are those two planes smiling? It certainly looks that way, dude. Ludus says, the X-Cub is me. That's some really nice flying, dude. These Cubs are happy flying machines, says Tarso. They absolutely are. We have an SR-22 arriving with a Cessna 172 as well. I have to say, guys, really impressed with the formation flying. We're still pretty much on course here. Going to make a very small adjustment to the right hand side. Get ourselves back on 240 degrees. Bartman7490 says, will you get a gaming monitor when you get the 3090 or stick with the TV? You see, with the TV you have HDR. With the gaming monitors, they are a lot more expensive to get the bigger sizes. It's hard to know. Ed Reed says, at Two-Tone Murphy, discovered your channel a bit ago today. I like your mannerisms and pleasant voice. Been simming since 1982. Keep up the nice work, lad. Well, Ed, many thanks, my dude. Simming since 1982. You are one of the forefathers of the flight simming community. Back in the old wire system simulators. You're very welcome. And thank you so much for your kind words, dude. I'm glad you're enjoying the streams. Billy says, it's a DA40, not an SR22. Billy, I got it completely wrong. Note the T tail. Ed says, old. Go ahead, you can say it. Not at all, my dude. This is very much an any age sim and stream. You have to be any age, not a number. It must state any. So we're looking kind of good here. Altitude is holding just above 2,500 feet, speed of about 165 kilometers an hour. That's about 110 miles an hour, I think, give or take. Our tachometer is reading about 4,500 on the RPM. Oil pressure is a little bit high. Cylinder head temperature is low, and our oil temperature is in the green. Coronel says monitors have a better frame rate. They can do if you're using the likes of the Nvidia G-Sync. It is a very different experience. As I said, I have a 24-inch or 25-inch. What size is this? It's a 24-inch 144 hertz HP monitor, and it's grand, you know. But I've seen other monitors, like Squirrel uses something, it's one of these wraparound ones. It looks amazing. Catsrader has, I think, is it a Samsung gaming monitor, a 30-odd inch? Mike asks, were you ever in the PC Pilots Ireland group? I wasn't. I was always interested in it though. But no, I was never involved in it. So Ed and Scott are kind of communicating with themselves. Scott says, nope, old farts must remain together. Ed Reed says, I was a real-world air traffic controller in the US back in the 1980s. That's awesome, Ed. You will cringe, absolutely cringe, with my pilotage skills. But look, we're all learning here together. Very soon, I hope, we'll all start venturing into the world of VATSIM, online ATC, just to hone in on some of our skills. I do know most of the members in the channel, we go from the absolute noob to the seasoned veteran. So I very much want to create a kind of platform for all of us to help each other out and help each other's skills and hopefully get a bit of online flying. Controlled online flying. Marcus says, going to try and join North Europe server. Is there a midpoint airport to depart from? Let's check. Not really. But if you want, if you see us on the map, Marcus, just click on an area and you can actually spawn your aircraft in that area. Just make sure you have your mixture and throttle set because the aircraft will start flying in the air. Ed says, we all had to learn, absolutely. Christian is here, he says, hiya from Cork. Good evening to you, Christian. Hope you're keeping well. Karen says, I have a 32-inch 4K LG. Nice. Flying Officer Kite has just subscribed. Many thanks, my dude. Happy Monday. You're very welcome to the channel, and I hope you're enjoying the stream. Wildlife Music Group is here asking, hey, which feels more realistic, modern or legacy mode? 100% modern. Legacy mode is very much the FSX kind of modelling and flight physics. The modern one is much better. Scott says, I wish I could afford what Squirrel has. Well, I also wish I had enough desk space. In fairness to Squirrel, like, he does have sponsorship deals with Asus, so he does have access to a lot of equipment. But again, like, Squirrel is one of my favourite streamers. I adore his channel and his content. Sam says, I'm an aspiring noob myself. I cannot wait for VR. Absolutely, that's going to be amazing. So far, so good. A very gentle left turn, just to keep us on 240, guys. As we'll keep an eye on the antics behind us, shall we? Many thanks for the subscribe, Christian. There's a whole load of us here now. That's got to be a better screenshot right there. With the wing-waving Cessna and someone doing barrel rolls over the group. Remember, guys, keep your distance. Who was it who said it the other night? Two-Tone Murphy's Flying Circus. That'll be us. So we look to be doing kind of good so far. My name Jeff. Wolfie is here. Good evening to you, Wolfie. Hope you're keeping well, my dude. Happy Monday to you. So a quick head count here, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Sure, what else would you be doing on a Monday night? Imagine the roar from the ground. It's crazy with an extra side of crazy. Shameless plug. Because why not? It took so long to make. $100 likes. That's fantastic, guys. Thank you all so very, very much for hitting that thumbs up bell. And for those of you on Twitch, thank you all so very much for all the follows. It means a lot to me, guys. Thank you all very, very much. Oh dear. We got a real low flyer down there. Okay, quick check on our status here. So guys, a very slight right turn. We're deviating ever so slightly off heading 240. The live's announced somewhere, still waiting for a new PC, but happy to join in once I have it. So, Christian, we stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, both here on YouTube and on Twitch. What I tend to do, I like to do kind of like a 2 or 3 leg flight in different areas. Usually the first leg would be Billy No Mates or Johnny Solo. And the reason for that is it just gives me the chance to kind of test settings and make sure the stream is doing what it should. After that, we open it up to multiplayer and tend to have a bit of crack. Abbott is here. He says, are you in a SOP with Camel? Not unlike it from the colours, but this is actually the Zlin Savage Cub. So it's based on the Piper Cub, the J3, I think. And they kind of pimped it out by adding a lock, complete with no key. But the performance is a little bit better than what you get, I think, in the standard Cub. Hey, how's it going? Let's keep an eye on these crazy people behind us, shall we? Colonel Fork says, had my first interaction with another pilot on VATSIM, gave me a boost of my confidence for using VATSIM while flying. That's great news, Colonel. Fantastic, dude. Keep at it. It can only get better. Yes, there will be more mistakes, but that's all the learning. Hi, caramba. Ed says, I wonder is the key on the keyring? There's like kind of pulleys and stuff here. I love this in an airplane. It's like, it's as raw as you're going to get. Did you bring your grog along us here? Good evening to you. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. And thank Murphy for taking your time to stream for us. Not at all, dude. My absolute pleasure. Ryan says we need to turn left. Okay, guys, we need to turn left. Only for you, Ryan. We will be lost. Let's see, can they all keep up? Well, almost. This is looking very good. We'll kind of stay in this head now for a little bit. Many thanks, Ryan. That literally could have went anyway. Don't forget, guys, if you're new here, we have a Discord channel. If you guys are new to flight sims, or if you're veterans of the simulation world, do be sure that we ramble on over. Share anything from your flight simulation pictures or media. If you guys need any help or advice with kind of setup or settings or procedures, or if you have problems in general, be sure to jump on. Keen says, only for you, Ryan. We would have had a longer stream. I just think the Discord it's handy for everyone to kind of stay in contact when the streams aren't live. And we have many members over there now, all of which are extremely helpful. Everyone's polite, we all get on. There's no messing. A great bunch of lads and lassies. Colonel Fork says, we're a good little community. That we are, Colonel. Kane Laffer says, I'm a sim veteran. I played The Sims 4. Don't forget, guys, Colonel Fork 85 also regularly streams over on Twitch. Be sure to catch some of his broadcasts. Always a good night watching the Colonel. Very informative streams. A whole lot of history stuff. And he's recently dipped his toes into some online VATSIM, virtual air traffic control. So that's always good to tune in. Dangerous Brain says, how many streamers involve their viewers in a group flight? Not many, so let's support him by hitting the thumbs up and subscribe buttons. Many thanks to you, Brian. Ivan says, the Beck's Brewery on the River Vesser, large white square, but as the locals say, it's brewed for export. They all drink Hake Beck, opposite to the medieval cathedral St. Petri Dom, with the two steeples. Nice. Mal Walters here says, Murph, do you think the box version would be easier to install than the download version? It would depend, I suppose, on the speed of your internet, Mal. It shouldn't be kind of easier or harder. It's more straightforward because you have a number of DVDs to install, and it'll prompt you, please insert disc 2 or disc 3 and so on and so forth. For me, I think it's easier using the online mode. Patrick Cullen has donated $5.49 through the super chat. Thank you so much, Patrick. Really appreciate the support, my dude. Cheers and sláinte, and here's to good health. And a word of advice, never forget an anniversary. Because you wouldn't know what'll happen. Ed Reed says, I wonder if the ignition key will open the lock. Walton says, just subscribe to the channel. Many thanks, Waltons. Really appreciate your support, dude. Thank you so much. I'd be afraid if I take the key out, it'll all go pear-shaped. You know what I mean? But I must read up on it. Like what is it attached to? Is it something to do with like the tail wheel lock, perhaps? I just don't know. Patrick Cullen says, love the streams. Thank you so much, Patrick. I'm delighted that you enjoy them. And happy Monday to you. Right, let's check on the gang here, shall we? Hey, gang. We're looking nice. Ed says, I thought it was for the trim. We've a trim wheel down here. Karen Nile asks, how many years are you streaming? Not a matter of years, a matter of what month are we? September. About 2 months. I'm making videos for about kind of a year, 2 years. A couple of explained videos here and there. But I've only really started streaming kind of 2 weeks or so before Microsoft Flight Sim released. I did a couple of extra or explained streams. But ever since Microsoft Flight Sim has released, I'm an avid streamer. I really enjoy streaming because it gives me a chance, obviously, to get some flight time. I think it's an amazing hobby to share with a very wonderful community. Yeah, I'm really enjoying meeting all you nice, wonderful people. Dangerous Brian says, Murphy, don't touch the key. Colonel Fork gifted 1 sub. And that was to... who was that to? That was to Waltons. Colonel Fork, thank you so much, dude. I'm giving Waltons all the praise there. Well, he deserves it. He landed in the water the last time. Well, 2 times ago. But Colonel Fork, thank you so much for your support, my dude. Over on Discord, Colonel, I'm using a Dublin accent now. Yeah, the Colonel said, right, and it was deadly. But Colonel Fork had said, we're going to try and do a planned flight into Oshkosh. Oshkosh be up kind of north of Chicago, near Milwaukee. And there's, just Google Oshkosh air shows and you'll read all about it. But basically what we're going to try and do is get some sort of maybe ATC up there. A whole load of us will take off from different airports, kind of, 30 to 40 minutes away, and we'll all try and fly in, approach, and land, and then we'll do a bit of kind of flying up there. So we just need to work out the idiosyncrasies of how we're going to make it happen. But once we do, stay tuned to Discord, and we'll make it happen. Joseph Gambino says, I'm on your 9 o'clock. That's 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Is that you there, Joe? Pat Laros is here. Which airport are you guys heading? We're heading for Echo Delta Delta Whiskey, Bremen Airport, and we're on the North Europe server. Billy says, deadly bye. So if you have a look at our map here, we took off from Hamburg. We're on our way now down to Bremen. Dangerous Brian asks, Murphy, does Mrs. Two-Tone sim? No. Ivan says, the Germans pronounce the city Bremen. The locals pronounce it Bremen. Always good to know. Many thanks, Ivan, for the tips there. Ludas says, I'm on your 7. Hello, Ludas. You're looking well. No, Mrs. Two-Tone doesn't sim, unfortunately. She's more into, well, I can't even say gaming, like, she's not really into gaming at all. But she does have a whole array of other fascinating interests. But she does like flight sim, and she loves the idea of being able to explore a new area. And she's a big fan of obviously the streams now that we have all the group flights in it, because it is super cool. And guys, if you're thinking, you know, if you want to join us for a stream, a group flight, I mean, these guys are making it look kind of super professional, and like they're all pilot aces. But we've only been flying for like, I don't know, a couple of weeks now. Now I'm saying that, guys, that does look pretty awesome. But yeah, if you're on the fence, if you're a little bit nervous and you're saying, you know, I haven't got the skills or whatever to be able to fly with these guys, you couldn't be more wrong. The only way you're going to figure it out is jumping on in. You could be the best or the worst pilot, it doesn't matter. Once you can hop on, you know, don't be an idiot, but like, have a bit of fun as well. And by don't be an idiot, like, we don't want to see 747s like blasting into the ground or whatever. But if you're interested in doing some group flights with us, you're all more than welcome. The more, the merrier. Walton says, and there are those of us who are brand new and ditch into the water. It takes all sorts. Yeah, but that was hilariously funny, dude. Philip Breen says, I'm a noob and even I'm in here. So anyone can do it. Jim Oates says, I'm watching Ace as I'm too busy drinking scotch with my feet up. One of these days I will fly with you. Now where's my glass? Dangerous Brian says, as I said earlier, how many streamers have these group flights? I don't actually know. It's hard to know, really. I imagine most of them do. And if they're not, like, they're missing out. It's great fun. Patrick Cullen says, will a 700 watt power supply be okay for the RTX 3080? Yes, but just it depends on other hardware you're going to be running. So just keep that in mind. But 700, you should be okay. Colonel Fork says, I always run open multiplayer on my streams. Yeah, it's great fun. Mr. Chippy says, definitely jump on if you want. This is really the most chill and friendly flying community. Love it. Many thanks, Mr. Chippy. Dangerous Brian says, not many, Murph. Well, that's a bit of a shame. Scott Voigt says, I think they say a 750 is minimum. For the 3080? Joseph Gambino says, my first multiplayer flight on Microsoft Flight Sim with Murphy. Nice. Gabriel Dillon says, I just put out the popcorn when all the landings begin. It's hilarious. Scott says, I'm going to play it safe with an 850. Look to your right, says Marcus. There you Hey, how's it going? So, do you come here often? That's some tidy flying, my dude. Oh, bit of a wing wave, bit of a turbulence. That's okay. So we're getting very close. Okay, guys, we kind of know the drill here. Murphy's going to land first. You guys remain in the pattern. Make sure there's plenty of spacing. And then we'll jump on the ground. I'll shut down my airplane. and then we'll start recording you guys coming in for a landing. Does that sound like a bit of a plan? I hope so. So I'm going to disengage from this glorious formation. I'm going to break down low to the left, so you guys maintain your direction and speed. Philip Breen says, I really need to pee. You can hold it, Philip. I believe in you. Ryan says, how do I refuel? I'm on 1%. Ryan, look at my screen. At the very top, hit this weight icon. It's weight and balance. Click it, and then you can adjust your fuel from here. It kind of breaks all sorts of immersion, but it's either that or like we hit the ground. Kieran says, will they bring back replay? Yeah, they're working on it, seemingly. So why Bremen, you might ask? Well, Bremen is the home of the Bremen airplane. And the Bremen airplane flew from Bremen to Ireland, Casement Aerodrome Baldonnel to be precise. And they made the very first east to west crossing of the Atlantic Ocean back in I'm going to say 27, if someone wants to verify it, but I think it was 1927. And they made history. Okay, cool. The guys are behaving. So, any of you guys see an airport down here? We'll keep an eye out for it. And the nice added challenge is you're going to be landing into the sun. Did you bring your grog along? Says you should use the bottle. Marcus says I had to fly at nearly stall speed for the Cirrus. Oh yeah. Dangerous Brian says it disappoints me that some people feel they need to hit the dislike button instead of just moving on. So let's hit the like button and show them we don't care. Each to their own, Brian. I know this kind of content is not for everyone, and that's okay. Hey, how's it going? Okay, I think I see a runway. Yeah, I see a runway. Right turn. Philip Green says, look at this place though, it's amazing. It's really nice. Luda says, I'm down to 3 FPS average for some reason. That's not good, dude. Tribal Gaming says, starting up a Beechcraft from the gate, autopilot won't engage, nav, any clues? Wait till you're airborne and then try it again. Did you bring your grog along? Says, I believe this content is for everyone. Many thanks, my dude, for your kind words. Kean Lafford says, something cool happens if you turn off your power in the sky. It does. The ground gets very big, very quick. So a little bit of a challenge with the low sun. Look at this place. It's really nice, isn't it? It's beautiful. Scenery to the left and right. Very pretty. Okay, Murph, don't break things now. We'll turn our camera on for the dramatic approach. As we all sit here quietly, but humming kind of tensionous music. Tensionous music? Tensionous music? Music that is... Now hang on, how do we phrase this one? There was great tension with the music. Marcus says, great way to spend a Sunday with fellow simmers. Thanks for this, Murph. No problem at all, Marcus. My absolute pleasure. Kinaffer says, you great English. Great English I have is vocabulary. It's kind of bumpy here too coming in for the landing, so this is going to make it interesting. Matthias says, it'd be really cool to see your controls on a second camera. That's a very good suggestion, Matthias. I'll look into that. I know Chewy has kind of like an on-screen guide for looking at his controls. I'll see if I can do that. Yeesh, who was that? Try the game says, I started and looked, took it up, but for some reason nav won't engage. Works fine starting from the runway. While the plane is on, but not when I start the plane for the gate. It could be a bug. I am aware there are a number of bugs still with the autopilots. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, guys, so the runway of our choice, the landing runway, is runway 27. Ed Reese says, music brought to you by Murphy and the Warthogs. We're here all week. Okay. Oh, watch your speed. It's fine, right? Never read chat while you're trying to land. Gently does it, gently does it. Okay, keep pressure on Z-back. And we're just going to roll off the ramp here. Roll off the ramp, roll off the runway. Onto the grass. Scott says, don't forget to tip the band. Chicken is here. That's a great name. Hello, Chicken. Okay, so we've no parking brakes, so that's okay. Avionics transponder, come off. Avionics off. Igniter's off. Fuel off. The whole thing is turned off. Nice. Right, bear with me now before we open the old, before we open the runway. One must get the right soundtrack. And disappear me, because things are going to get crazy. Oh, wait, just too early. Don't go yet. We need name tags on. Traffic, name tags, apply, back. Okay. Joytech 5 coming in for a landing. He's going around. Yes, wait for the next one, my dude. There we go. Okay, here comes Taurus. We're looking good. We're looking good. Not bad. Hair be hair. In a Cessna. Okay, let's see if we can get this back on track. The old camera work there was kind of abysmal. So, mind your spacing, guys. E-Tabor's coming in. Cessna 172, followed by Whisper Gaming, and we have Ludus behind him. There's a go around. That's a decent enough landing. Here comes Ludus. Does a float. Touchdown. Nicely done. Benny says, the scenery looks very photorealistic here. It surely does. Here comes Kindly Tiger. Oh, we'll take that. Nicely done. Here comes Whisper Gaming again. We're looking good. We're looking good. And down. We need to sit on the side of the runway with scorecards to hold them up for landings. I don't know how we're going to organise that, Scott, but I absolutely agree. It's something I'll try and program into the chat so you guys can kind of vote. Leave that with me. That requires brain power. Here comes Joytech 5. Like a bullet. We have Philip Breen in the distance. Texas 1 Flyboy is there. Papa Joe B is coming in as well. Chippy Arnold is on approach. Chad Hittenberger's here. Good evening to you, Chad. He says, I'm having a hard time with the cameras as well. Yeah, dude, they're real finicky. But let's see what we can do. Here comes Chippy. He lines up the approach. It's a bit of a floater, but that's okay. We'll go to about here. Design is here. Server and airport. We are in the North Europe server, and the airport is Echo Delta Delta Whiskey, Bremen in Germany. Tam official has made a touchdown. It's a bit of a bounce. SD Bama's coming in. Paul Garrett says, gotta go to work. See you later. Thanks for the stream. Paul, have a good day at work, my friend, and many thanks for joining us here tonight. So SD Bama's coming in, as is Papa Joe. Oh, this is looking tidy, looking very tidy. Nicely done. Oh yeah, it's getting serious now. There's a Guinness lover in the air. Ed says it looks like Oshkosh. I think Tam is flying in something that's not a PC. Here comes Sparker in VR in the Cessna 172. He's fighting the currents, fighting the currents. There's a nice flare coming in, and he's down. The Berkel Fire and Guinness Lover, along with Philip Breen, a three-way landing. Oh, little bounce. Philip Breen has just got it down. Nicely done, fellas. Here comes Shark 15. Little bit of a bounce. Whisper Gaming has literally put margarine on the runway. Texas Flyboy is on the approach, as is Ludas. Texas Flyboy lines up the approach. Somewhere. As Ludos is also making the approach coming in. The Pipistrel floats like a butterfly. No pressure, guys. We can see on the approach. A hush befallens the crowd. Stephen Collins says, some good landings there. Sorry I've missed the last few streams and flying. Since coming off leave, haven't had much time to fly. That's quite okay, Stephen. I'll hopefully catch you soon, though. Stephen Coughlin says, "Oh, that I can only see about 2 or 3 players, but could you see me?" I think we could, Stephen, yeah. So, Ludos coming in for the land. GPC 111 gives us a lol. Come on, Ludus, you can do it. And he's down. Oh, mind the brakes. Hold back on that stick, dude. Nicely done. Texas flyby. Oh, there he goes. Kinda, almost, nearly. You can do it. Yes. Just flare it, pull it back. Getting better, getting better. And he's down. Right, I think that's it. Is that everyone down? Oh dear. So, that's hilarious looking. Hey guys. Can we get everyone's name here is going to be the challenge. That's kind of good there. As Texas 1 Flyby will jump in as well. That's absolutely nuts. Well guys, with that said, an absolute crazy night of flying for a Monday. Look at the amount of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think there's 20 there. Guinness lover living up to his name of absolute carnage. Ah, crazy. Right guys, my thanks as always to the wonderful selection of online multiplayers we've had with us tonight. Many thanks to all the new subscribers and for everyone for hitting the thumbs up button, all the new followers over on Twitch, and everyone here on YouTube. Don't forget I stream every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 8 PM Irish time. So be sure to join us for the next one. It's great fun. And after the day I've had, I'm now totally chilled out, which is always a good sign. So let's have a quick look to see. Colonel Fork, don't go anywhere. We'll jump over to you very shortly. But for everyone else, happy Monday, happy Labor Day in the States, happy Independence Day in Brazil. And yeah, don't forget, jump over on Discord as well, and we can continue the chat. Until the next time, thank you all so very, very much. And I'll see you soon, guys. Good night.